You know, it's funny how life has a way of shoving the truth in your face when you least expect it. I was once that guy. I built my world brick by brick, all about the hustle, the numbers, the status. Jonathan Reed, CEO, millionaire, untouchable. But beneath that polished exterior, I was just a man running away from his own shadows, scared of anything that felt real. I thought success was everything, but I was one call away from losing it all. A call that would uncover a past I didn't even know I had. I spent so many years chasing deals and accolades, always prioritizing my ambition over connections, convinced that love and family were distractions. Friends would tell me I was living the dream, a spacious office, a corner view of the city, but I felt a void, a weight I couldn't shake. My mother, with her critiques and her icy expectations, never quite let me forget that there was no room for weakness in our family's legacy. So I built walls instead of bonds, burying my fears beneath layers of financial success. And then came the night it all changed, the late night call from a hospital telling me that Amara, a name I hadn't thought about in years, was fighting for her life. Suddenly, all those walls I'd constructed came crashing down. I had a daughter, Maya, whose very existence I had ignored, and in that moment I was faced with the haunting truth. The life I had built was about to come undone, revealing the man I truly was or could be. I sat in my office that night, the glowing skyline outside mocking me, but all I could feel was a tightening knot in my stomach. The phone call came like a thunderclap, shattering everything I thought I knew. Mr. Reed, it's urgent. Amara Williams is in critical condition. You need to get to the hospital. My heart raced. Amara, a name I hadn't spoken in years. A name that echoed the mistakes of my youth and the child I never acknowledged. You're going to face yourself in that hospital, Jonathan. I had told myself, but I was a coward then. We didn't want to ruin your career, she had said, her voice like glass shattering in my memory. I swallowed hard, the weight of my decisions suddenly crushing. Walking through those sterile hallways, I was met with the smell of antiseptic and something far more stifling guilt. When I caught my first glimpse of Maya Amara's daughter, my breath caught. She looked like an innocent angel, yet there was an awareness in her brown eyes that cut deeper than any boardroom meeting. "Are you here to see my mum?" she asked, clutching a worn teddy bear. I I didn't know how to answer, navigating through a tidal wave of emotions. Just then, a voice behind me, sharp and unforgiving, pierced the fragile moment. "You shouldn't have come here, Jonathan. This is not your world anymore." It was Catherine, my mother. "What do you want from me, Mum?" I fired back the words, bitter and cold. "To forget her, to focus on what truly matters," she replied, disdain dripping from each syllable. My heart tightened. Was status really everything? In that moment, my resolve hardened. No more running. I wouldn't be the man who neglected the family I had yet to understand. Maya's small hand brushed against my arm, a gesture so simple yet profound. "Are you good at being busy?" she asked, a child completely unaware of the storm brewing in my life. And for an instant, I saw not just her innocence, but my failure. "I'm learning." I managed, unsure if I even knew the meaning of the word. But I had to try. I couldn't give in to my mother's expectations, couldn't silence the voice inside screaming for redemption. My past was filled with shadows, but they wouldn't dictate my future anymore. I was going to fight for them. I had to. As Jonathan stood in the sterile glow of the hospital room, a pit settled in his stomach. He thought he was tough built to handle the cutthroat world of business, but this was different. There was Maya, a child without the facade of corporate armor. "Am I good at being busy?" she had asked, her big brown eyes piercing through his bravado like a needle through a balloon. Each word twisted the knife of his regret deeper. How could he explain the whirlwind of deadlines and meetings to a girl who just wanted someone to notice her? Then there was his mother, Catherine, standing there like a storm cloud, ready to rain on his moment of clarity. "You've already ruined one life, Jonathan." She had snapped, her voice as cold as the hospital floor. "Don't you dare ruin the legacy I built for you." Ah, yes, the legacy. The golden cage that had kept him shackled to expectations. It was like juggling knives, one wrong move, and bam, guilt sliced through him like he was already bleeding out. Every time he thought about stepping up for Maya, an avalanche of public doubt buried his resolve. What will the board say? What will my investors think? They'd have a field day, painting him as the absentee father or the son who dared to defy the iron fist of his mother. But inside there was a flicker of something, a smattering of hope, a defiance that was hard to pinpoint, like a faint signal on a cracked radio. Then came those tiny triumphs, a tentative smile from Maya as he read her storybooks, the warmth of her laughter, even the way she clutched his hand when she felt scared. Was this what it meant to be human? Not just a suit with a title, but a person capable of love and vulnerability. It was maddening, exhilarating, and terrifying all at once. So yes, everything felt like it was crashing down. But in that chaos, amidst the doubts and disapprovals, something was stirring. A desire to become more than just a shadow of a father, to embrace the whirlwind and stand tall even when faced with the gusts of disapproval. He just had to find a way to weather the storm before the dawn broke. The sterile room, the blurring hum of machines. Jonathan stands frozen. Nothing feels real. He watches as Maya wipes her tears on her crumpled sleeve. "I just want my mum," she whispers, a small voice in a vast world. A weight settles on his chest, guilt, fear, a lifetime of choices haunting him. His mother's voice echoes in his mind, cold and unyielding. "You can't afford to be soft, Jonathan. You think they'll understand weakness, but strength. What does it mean?" In this moment, standing at the crossroads of love and obligation, Jonathan discovers fragility. Then from somewhere deep, an ember ignites. What if? He breathes deeply, uncertain but resolute. "I'll be here," he whispers to Maya, the words carrying more than he ever expected. The spark catches the sudden urge to fight, to embrace this mess he's created. That moment of clarity strips away the years of pretense. The yearning for redemption rises, taking him by surprise. He glances toward Amara's room, fear intertwining with determination. Without her, there is no Maya. He steps forward, heart-hammering thoughts racing. I've spent my life chasing shadows. He admits, his voice thick, but no more. He grasps the responsibility, choosing connection over convenience. The reflection in the glass feels different now, more human, more real. In that moment, the walls begin to crack. A father awakens, a choice to fight for the love he denied himself, not just for Maya, but for his own soul. The path before him is daunting. The board stares back, expectations sharp, but he stands taller. With each heartbeat, a new resolve builds. I will be present. And just like that, despair begins to ebb, replaced by a flicker of hope. It's not merely a choice, it's liberation. From shadows to light. Jonathan Reed is ready to embrace his truth. And from shadows to light, the Jonathan Reed story. As the press conference room buzzes with anticipation, Jonathan stands at the podium, the weight of his choices heavy on his shoulders. Behind him, a giant screen flickers to life, displaying headlines that once defined him: corporate titan and unyielding businessman. But today, he isn't just Jonathan Reed, the CEO. He is a man transformed, ready to shatter the image that has long imprisoned him. He clears his throat, each breath punctuated by the pounding of his heart. For years, I've been known as a man of ambition, driven, yes, but blind to what truly matters. A sweeping shot captures the skeptical faces of board members, their vested interests glaringly evident. But it's the small figure of Maya, sitting in the front row clutching a crumpled drawing of a house with 3 stick figures, that steals his resolve. It took a crisis for me to see family is not just an obligation, but a gift. The room holds its breath as he gestures toward Maya, her eyes wide with hope. I almost missed the most important connection of my life. I won't let that happen again. The room erupts in whispers, and he catches the eye of Nathan, his half-brother, whose disdain radiates an unspoken challenge. With unwavering conviction, Jonathan continues. Today I announce my commitment to Amara and Maya, both in business and in life. The click of his pen signing a contract on the table sends ripples through the crowd, accompanied by the loud flash of cameras capturing him as he chooses love over legacy. As the conference draws to a close, a moment of quiet triumph wraps around him. With a subtle smirk tugging at the corners of his lips, he exchanges a firm handshake with Amara, who stands beside Maya, his family now open to the world. The applause crescendos, but beneath it lies a poignant truth. This victory doesn't erase the scars of his past. It simply makes them worth carrying. Together they step into a brighter future, each of them transformed by the love they've found and the battles they've fought. As we reflect on Jonathan Reed's journey from shadows to light, it's clear that power can be a double-edged sword. What begins as an insatiable quest for success eventually unearths a profound truth. True strength lies not in wealth, but in connection. Jonathan learned that revenge, symbolized by his defiance against those who doubted him, had little power against the redemptive force of love. His struggles with abandonment and neglect forced him to confront not just his past failures, but the high walls he had built around his heart. In standing with Maya and Amara, Jonathan discovered that trust is a fragile, precious gift. It requires vulnerability, openness, and sometimes the courage to admit one's own wrongs. The real question that lingers is this: can a person ever truly find redemption? Or is the past an unshakable shadow that defines us? As Jonathan embraced fatherhood, breaking free from his mother's expectations and the weight of his corporate legacy, he fostered a new identity rooted in love and responsibility. It's a bittersweet irony that the hardest moments of his life led to the most beautiful connections. How often do we chase after what society deems valuable only to find that the greatest treasure exists in the relationships we nurture? What do you think? Is it possible to reconcile with our past, or do some mistakes leave scars too deep to heal? Share your thoughts below and let's explore the complex tapestry of family and forgiveness together.